So I created this yoga class with everyone in mind. So you never done yoga before, you already have done a lot of yoga. All of you will reap the benefit of a calmer nervous system and more stability around the legs because there will be a lot of standing poses. You can use some blocks. If you don't have them, it still will be fine, but you can also use a thicker book instead if you don't have any blocks yet. Alright, so let's come to a pose called Tadasana, the mountain pose. Your feet will be about hip width apart. They often have the tendency to turn out, so please move them into a parallel to each other position. Often that feels a little awkward, a little pigeon-toed, but that's how you know that you're in the right position. Open up your palms to the front and just breathe through your nose, if you can, of course, right? As you inhale, bring your arms out in front of you and then reach them up over your head. And then use your exhale to simply let the arms come back down to the side towards your hips. I'll just show from the side, simple. Inhale, the arms go back up towards the sky. And on an exhalation, lower the arms down to the sides. Good, let's do that one more time. Simply the arms reach up towards the ceiling. And on an exhalation, lower the arms back down to the sides. Then come into a wider stance. So as wide as your mat would be enough, nothing more. And then since we have a wider stance here, you can turn your feet out a tiny bit, that's all. All right, and then bring the arms here to the side, parallel towards the floor. First, bring your attention to your breath. Through the nose if possible. Good. And then as you inhale from the side, bring your arms up towards the sky. And then lower on an exhale the hands back down to the side of your hips. Now you can add the legs a little bit, bend your knees and straighten your legs and let the arms come down. Inhale, the arms reach up, bend your knees. As you exhale, straighten your legs, arms down to the sides. And one more time. Arms go up, bend your knees. As you exhale, straighten your legs, let the arms come down. Very good. That's just so to warm up the body, lubricate the joints a little bit. Good. And bring more attention or more of your attention inward to your body. Good. So now again, you can either use your block or a thicker book. This block will just be here right now to teach you a particular action. Let your feet go all the way to the edge of your block. Good. Then bring your hands to your hips and bend your knees just a tiny bit. And then press your heels towards the edges of the blocks until you feel that the muscles here on your inner thighs start to become firm. That's it. And now also the mound of the big toe, push that towards the edge of the block. So the inner heel and the mound of the big toe are pressing in for the purpose of toning the muscles of your inner thighs. Good. Now again, while squeezing the block together, reach your arms up on an inhalation. And with an exhalation, lower the arms back down to the sides. Add the legs, inhale, bend your knees, squeeze the block. Exhale, straighten your legs, arms come down, always squeeze the block. Bend your knees, reach your arms up. Press your feet into the block as you do all these actions. One more time. Very good. Yeah, so the term we often use is to press the shins to the midline. These are your bones. Draw your feet to each other. So this will all be describing the same action that we just did. So now please face along the edge of your mat. So if you're just starting out, I would definitely suggest to keep your stance like more on the moderate end. If you've been practicing for a longer time, go a little wider. The key is you want to feel slightly challenged, but not completely out of control. Yeah. So I'm going to join you guys here with a little shorter stand today. Hands to your hips. All right, like we just did. Draw your feet towards each other until you feel firmness on the inside of your thighs. Very good. Then bring the arms to the side and bring your arms up over your head. Look up, and with an exhalation, lower the arms back down to your hips. So two things are happening at the same time. You draw your feet to each other, and with an inhalation, the arms go back up. You look up and exhale towards your hips. One more time. As the feet draw to the midline, your arms are moving and you look up. Alright, so now turn your right foot out. And then you're going to bend your right knee until the knee is right over the center of your front ankle. Don't go much further, just right here. And the back foot is parallel towards the short edge of your mat. Hands to your hips. All right. You will draw your feet back towards each other again for the firmness and engagement of your adductors. These are your inner thigh muscles. Then reach your arms to the side, parallel to each other. Okay. And then turn your head to look to pass your middle finger towards whatever is there. Good. Breathe. So every time you inhale, you keep drawing your feet stronger towards each other. And on an exhalation, relax your facial muscles a little bit. So there's some activity, and then there is some relaxing within the pose. Then reach both arms up, turn your foot parallel to the short edge of your mat, and exhale, hands to your hips. Alright, so now the other side, you turn your left foot out, parallel to the long edge of your mat. Bend your front knee. Again, if you've been practicing longer, you could make your stance a lot wider, and that will add to the intensity of this pose. Good. With your hands still on your hips, ground your feet equally into the floor and then pull your feet towards each other strongly. Good. Then again, the arms come to the side and turn your head towards your left hand. Good. And while you look over here, you can take a look and make sure that your knee is right over the center of your foot. It has a tendency to drop in. You gotta make sure it stays over the center of the foot. All right. Breathe. And we'll do the same again. On an inhalation, you try to tone the muscles of your inner thighs. And on an exhalation, relax the muscles of your face. Hands to your hips. Turn your foot in. Heel toe, your feet closer together. And stand once again in Tadasana. The language I'm using here is called Sanskrit. It's one of the ancient, not one, it's the ancient language used to describe the yoga postures. That's why you will hear these weird words. The pose we just did was Virabhadrasana 2. Good. So now going on to the next posture, you will turn out your right foot again. Foot is parallel to the short edge of your mat, and you get to bend your front knee. So we've been just here, so this is familiar. Now we'll add the next component. Let your forearm rest on your front thigh. And for this hand to have something to do here to begin with, you can place it onto your wrist, or maybe push the fist on top of the hand. See which variation gives you good stability. Even if the stance is a lot shorter, this still works. Even though it feels, because we're bowing over to the side, a little better if you make it a little longer, the stance. Good, nothing else is changing. Bring your attention to your feet. Draw your feet actively towards each other. The back leg has to work a little bit more here. Good. Once you're stable, now use this hand to push into the floor to turn your, or into your hand to turn your chest a little bit more. Good, so there's some strength. And then you use the free hand here. You can spread your fingers a little bit, straighten the arm all the way, and then move the hand towards the space behind you. As you start moving the hand behind you, you will notice that your chest starts to open more and maybe even rotates a little bit towards the ceiling. Alright, so you can stay here, or if you want to go further, now take the arm past your ear towards your right foot, that direction. Good. Very strong legs. And then we play the same game again. On an inhalation, you want to tone your legs a little bit more. And as you exhale, relax your face. Not the leg muscles, please. They need to stay stable. One more breath. And then here, like somebody's pulling you out of the pose, pull yourself back up, hands to your hips. Other side, turn your left foot out, bend the knee. Again, this works also well. If your stance is shorter, you can still enjoy this posture. Alright, so once the knee is over your front ankle, you let your forearm come onto your front thigh, right above the knee. And again, this hand here on the wrist, I know, it's like a good grip, makes us feel stable. Alright, breathe through your nose first. Draw your feet towards each other. Good. And then you really wait. Okay, I'm drawing my feet towards each other. Do I really feel some tone on the inner thighs? And then try to maintain this sensation of strong inner thighs. Push your hand into your own wrist to initiate the twist of your torso. Then bring your top hand to the space behind you, a little space between your fingers. And then as you're like pushing something away behind you, the chest will start to rotate open towards the ceiling. If you want to go further, turn your arm so that the palm is now facing towards your left foot. Good. Past your ear towards the left. On an inhalation, more strength. On an exhalation, a little softness, but just around the facial muscles. Hold on to something. Inhale, come on back up. Heel toe, your feet a little closer together. Alright. Very accessible postures. But as you will hear in all my classes, accessible does not necessarily mean easy. So, that being said, from the side so you can see better, you can stay in your position. The hands will come together like this. Just a light touch with the middle fingers right in front of each other. So here, this is how it's going to look like. I'm going to show from the front first. On an inhale, bring your arms into this V position. Reach up. And then you're going to place your fingers together and move them behind your head. But try to not let your head pop forward. Try to keep your head up, right over your heart, and move your fingers slightly away from your skull. And then you reach your arms up towards the sky. Rotate the arms inward, so the thumb moves from here, forward and down. And then you do the same game here. You let your fingertips come together in line with your kidneys. They're somewhere here in this area. Try not to touch the low back if possible. You do your best. So reach your arms up towards the sky, a wide V, keeping your head right over your heart, fingertips together. Try not to touch the skull. If you touch it, don't worry. Arms back up to the sky. Rotate inward and let the hands come together behind your low back. One more time. Reach up, maybe even look up at first, and then hands together behind your head. I missed my fingers. Arms up. Turn your hands in, bring your fingertips together, light touch, and release the arms down to the side. Alright, so now we'll combine this with a leg movement, and then you guys, I think it's time to get down towards the floor. So please step your right leg back with the toes facing slightly forward. You want to change the position of your hips, so trying to align your hip bones parallel towards the short edge of your mat, And then bend your front knee like we did before, right over the front ankle. Good. Now remember the arm movement. We'll apply that again. So reach your arms up. Good. Bring the fingertips together and the hands behind the head. Then reach the arms back up again. Internally rotate your arms and bring your fingertips together behind your kidneys. Alright, one more time, arms up. Hands together behind the back of your head. Now stay here for a moment and try to lift your chest up a little higher towards the sky. Good. Look, lift, lift, lift. Push through your back foot a lot and maybe bend your front knee a little bit more. Then reach your arms back up. Thumbs move forward and down. Straighten your front leg. Bring your fingertips together. Complex, I know. This way you have to pay attention. Good, and then just bow a little bit forward, not too much. Pull your shoulder blades towards each other, look straight down towards your mat. Lift your chest again. Arms to the side. Bend your front knee, arms to the sky. Fingertips behind the skull. Reach your arms back up. Straighten your front leg. Internally rotate your arms, bring your fingers together, both legs straight, bow slightly forward. Pull your shoulder blades towards each other and slowly come on back up. Release the hands, bring them to your hips so your arms can relax for a moment and come to Tadasana. Lots going on, huh? Alright. So now it will be the left leg back. I'm just going to turn around here so you have a better view. I think you do. Good. So bend your front knee. Back leg all the way straight. Push the heel into the floor. Good. Breathe through your nose. Always the same. Draw your feet towards each other for stability in your foundation. Good. And then arms up towards the sky. Bring your fingertips together behind your head. Reach your arms back to the sky. Internally rotate your arms. Bring your fingertips together behind your kidneys. Arms back up. Big wide V. Look even up slightly. Hands together behind your head. Don't touch. If you can, arms go back up to the sky. Straighten your front leg. Fingertips together behind your low back. Draw your shoulder blades towards each other as you bow forward a little bit. Lift your chest again. Bend your front knee as you reach your arms back up to the wide V. Fingertips together behind your head. Push through your back foot. Lift your chest up like the heart wants to move up towards the sky. Reach your arms up, straighten your front leg. Internally rotate the arms. Fingertips come together behind your kidneys. Slide forward fold. Inhale, go back up to the sky. Release the hands down to the side. Turn and bring your feet closer together. Alright, standing poses are completed. Lay down. Draw your right knee towards you. So if you're new to this practice, you may want to bend the other leg at first. It feels a little bit more, or it is more accessible. So you can draw your right knee towards you. And straight-legged version is also possible. Straighten out your right leg, reach your arms up over your head. Pull your left leg in. Again, I'm going to show the bent-legged version. Straight. Release both legs, reach your arms up over your head. Bring the arms to the side like a T, palms are facing up, feet together, knees together. Here you can lift your feet up a little bit, or if you're newer to this practice, you may think it's more stable to keep your feet on the floor. So I show this first. Move both knees over towards the right. Or Hold them in first and then move them to the right. This will intensify your twist. So like we did in all these postures, push your feet towards each other and even your knees into each other. So they don't just lay here. So you squeeze them towards each other and rotate your hips over so that the spine gets a deeper twist. Come on back towards the middle, either feet lifted or still on the ground. And then move your knees over towards your left. Again, feet and knees are pulling towards the midline, and you're moving your hips over towards the left to increase the twist in your spine. Now where's the block? And come on back towards the center. Heard the block, let's use it. Block, book, anything you have. Put that underneath your hips. So you have your low back here, so it's where the lumbar spine. There. You want to move the block a little closer towards your tailbone at the bottom end of your spine. So that you really feel that the whole hip girdle is resting on the block and the edge of the block is not pushing into your lumbar spine, your low back. Good. And then here you get to bend your knees, lift your chin up, and just press your shoulders a little into the floor to protect your neck. Feet are hip width apart, and you can still draw your legs towards the center. You can stay here, or if you want to take this into a supported shoulder stance. I'm shoveling my skin a little bit this way, it feels better once the legs are up. If you have tried our hamstrings, your pose may look like that. It's still valuable if you just want to move or reverse the flow of the blood towards the heart using gravity. Straight-legged. Bend-legged. In the beginning, the quads can get tired fairly quickly, so you could rest for a moment and then come back up and switch legs. Even if your feet are still on the ground, your hips are higher than your heart. Again, it allows blood to flow towards your heart with a little bit more ease. Move with ease. Everybody bend your legs again, soles of the feet back down to the floor. Lift your chest up one more time and press your head into the floor so your chin can lift a little more. Remove the block. Let your hips come down. Alright, and then move your feet as wide as your mat apart from each other. Centered there. You can bring your arms into this position, I call it the cactus position, or you can hold on to your elbows above your head. I'm going to show the cactus. Alright, so try to bring some tone and awareness to the legs so that you can move slowly at a pace that you decide, and don't let just legs flop from side to side. So it would look like this. Slowly move your knees to one side, and then at a controlled, even pace, move your knees to the other side. Ideally, you would use an inhale to go to one side, and then a entire exhale to go to the other side. So please align your movement with the pace of your own breath. And then stay in the center. Shuffle your feet towards each other. Good, last pose, just bring your hands onto your kneecaps, front of your kneecaps, and then arch your lower back like as much as you can. And then round your lower back and pull the knees in a little closer. And then it's time to relax a little bit. So you can straighten out your legs here. Bring your palms to the side and look straight up. For some of this, for us, this can be tricky for the low back. You can bend your knees and let your knees kind of rest against each other. Your breath again. As you continuously breathing through your nose, make your inhalation longer. And the following inhalation may be even longer than the previous one. Very slowly start to move your head a little bit from side to side. Don't go for maximum range of motion, just a little movement. And then you can stop the head movement, wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can roll your wrists. Alright, turn to your right side first. Let your head rest on your hands. Left hand in front of you to push into the ground to come up slowly. Good. Cross-legged or anything, depending on how you can move. This is fine. Come to a seated posture. Let your hands come together in front of your chest.